We are gathered here today with drinks for Thirsty Thursday. Our host, Nancy Firestein, is having a wonderful time in Michigan, near the water. We just read her poem, so she's going to see it on Facebook. But what we've got here, apart from the food and drink and fantastic friendship, is the opportunity to hear people you wouldn't normally hear. So our feature tonight is Kuypers, who has her own publishing press and used to run a venue in Chicago she goes back to when she's sick and tired of Austin. It's eat. And all I can say is Janet will say everything you never thought you could hear at a poetry reading. Here's Janet.
I was very excited that I'd be able to come here, and thank you for this opportunity, Tom, because I have 2 new poetry books. I just came back from a trip to Chicago where they bought all of the copies of every event of the year that I had on me, the January through June Volume 1 version of the book, so I only have hard copies to be able to share, though there are links for Amazon for being able to get the book, and I'll have to get one quickly before another open mic can show. And the other one is from a pheromemes series. You're saying, what are pheromemes? I don't understand. It's not a word. If you can be attracted to someone's pheromones, maybe you could be attracted to my words or thoughts or memes. So someone created this book, someone in this room created this word, pheromemes. And so there's 3 in this series. This is the 3rd book, pheromemes of haiku, Instagram, Twitter, and poetry. The reason why I like this book, which happens to have my school picture from kindergarten on the cover of it, is that I have a lot of short poems in here as well as longer ones. And so if there are Instagram images or they appear on Twitter or Tumblr or Facebook or whatever, those short poems, I'll just randomly pull out, hey, you've got images that come with them as well. And I will try, as I'm going through this, show those off as well. They also have longer poems, but I wanted to share things from these 2 books with you, but I felt bad that Journeys was the theme that I had chosen, so I figured I should write a couple of Journeys pieces. So I would start one to start the show and one to end the show. And I hope you like them because I wrote them while I was journeying. I was in Chicago at the time. And because I thought a train would be appropriate for this, because her first poem is called Journeys on a Train. You tell me if that volume is good enough. Just to have some back. Oops, and then I hit it. Why don't you start that again? Thank you. This first poem is called Journeys on a Train. Traveling across country on a train, I have listened to the rhythmic rock as the engine rolled cars from one state to the next, giving us passengers a sunlit slice of America. Driving out at night to an abandoned road on the outskirts of Austin, Texas, we found train tracks parallel to a quieted road and listened to crickets chirp to the rumbling freight trains. There's rhythmic beauty to the sound of a train rolling down those tracks, from engine noise to the wheels turning on the railroad tracks and that classic clickety-clack noise. To you, a train may give you the feeling that you're going on a big adventure. But to me, the unique sound of the L train, a commuter running a loop in downtown Chicago and then giving passengers rides to every angle of the city to commute, to shop, or to be social. I'm telling you, the L train noise is different from all other trains I know. After leaving Chicago, after being pushed away, coming back and hearing that train truly pulls on my heartstrings, because the train can remind the average Joe of a beautiful adventure, but hearing the L train consoles me and reminds me of being home. What a beautiful journey the train can be, but this one train, reminding you of home, is a perfect memory. I think I'm gonna leave leave that train running for the show. It just sounds like, it makes you think journeys. The first poem, I was going to read it from this book, but it happens to also be in this book, so I guess I'm going to read it from this one for you. This is a poem that in the other book is related to Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because I wrote it on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I hope you guys like it. It is called Our Color, Our Gender, Our Creed. There is a house inside of me. It's a house with a rich heritage, brimming with the knowledge of how our souls have flourished and how it can be all so quickly taken away. There is a house inside of me that has had to shut down to hide everything away because people who didn't look like me decided that I was nothing and treated me accordingly. There is a house inside of me. Its pulse has an infectious rhythm that we've had to stifle to hide from your generic white bread world. We only let it out when we're alone to save us from your madness. There is a house inside of me. I've hidden it away. I've sealed it up and placed it deep within, brimming with my history and my future. And I don't let it out when people can't think of me as human. There is a house inside of me. I've put boards over the windows to save myself from your storm. With your wrath, I've learned to not fight back, only because my captor won't let me. There is a house inside of me, and this house will stand strong even after you have raped me, beaten me, tortured me, tried to kill me, treated me as nothing. But you were so wrong. There's a house inside of me, and what you don't realize is that this house will outlast yours. Trust me. If your house is built on distrust and such blatant disrespect, your house is bound to collapse. Because after all this time, and after my wanting to fight, I've learned that passive resistance is only a part of my story, because in these struggles I have gained a wisdom and a connection that is beyond this house inside me, beyond this sharing, this inquisitive mentality. So I want you to remember, this house is a symbol for all like me, and for all of those not like me too. Because I have a dream that everyone who has suffered like this, and even those who have not, should share their stories with all of the world, no matter our color, our race, our gender, our creed. This is my dream, because this is how we truly grow. Yeah. Because that was from Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so it appears earlier in the other book, Every Event of the Year. This is as close as I could get to showing it off, since all of my copies were sold from in Chicago. They said, we're not going to have a jar, so just buy our books. And all my books are gone, which is cool. So I thought I'd share some for you that I printed out from this book for you. This next one was for and on Valentine's Day, and it's called Valentine's Day Every Day. Once you traded my snow-soaked socks through sandals for your dry pair as we climbed one of the Alps. I know there was snow, but I wanted to do this for you. After we approached a 30-foot wide water pit, I said I had to stop. I couldn't do it. But during a return, construction crews came and tore up our path. And that is when you picked me up and started carrying me over what my sandals couldn't navigate. Because, yes, I want to do things for you, but I think it's abundantly clear that you want to do things for me, too. And I may be the first to say that selfishness is a virtue, but I want you to understand, I want to do things for you because seeing you happy makes me happy. How selfish of me, wanting to see my love happy. So what do I need a Hallmark holiday for in the first place? Why do I need conversation hearts or flowers or chocolates? In fact, after knowing you for less than 3 weeks one Valentine's Day, you bought me a map because you knew I traveled. And your coworker laughed at you, thought you were a fool. But you even remember that when you gave me the map, I asked you if it was okay if I kept it wrapped up in the tube until we could frame it in our office. You remembered that I said this to you after knowing you for less than 3 weeks. So, as I said, what do I need an economic gift-giving holiday for anyway? You show me you love me every day. And since the beginning, I have loved you every day. Not Valentine's Day. Every day. I was going through in order of as the holidays go this year. I randomly picked them out. And this one was written on March 2nd, as some may know, was Texas Independence Day. And I'm a Chicagoan, so brace yourselves. But this is called Each Trigger Pull. Once I got to the gun range today, I saw that the rifle range was closed and learned that a real estate company is considering buying the land just past the range. So they got an injunction, a court order, to stop the gun range firing guns toward the extended land. I'm not sure if they actually found any expended bullets or casings out there, and as far as I know, no one has bought the land, so they just sit and wait. The way the Republic of Texas waited 9 years to be a part of the United States of America after claiming their independence on March 2nd, which happens to also be the birthday of Sam Houston, who led Texas to victory over Mexico in the Battle of San Jacinto, which may be a reason why Texas here seems to have a stronger attachment to their guns than a lot of other states, because they know too well from their own history how vital it was to embrace these firearms to preserve their lives. That may be something other states in this union have forgotten. We turn a blind eye to violence and think that it'll never touch us, when it is probably lurking just around the corner and no one knows it. So as I sit here in one of the bays of the gun range now, I wear protective eyeglasses and ear mufflers, ear gear with enough force to protect my ears and with enough pressure, actually, to crush my skull. Watching the smoke from every shot rise from the gun in front of me, I can still hear the 9mm pistol and rifle shots fired in our bay and hear the AR-15 shots fired in the bay next door. Each trigger pull releases a thunderous boom, and it almost reminds me of fireworks here on Texas Independence Day. The noise is something that seems so strong, but really, like fireworks, it's only something that reminds me of celebration and celebrating. Did you think, how did I connect guns to fireworks? This one is probably for a day, and I don't know what because I don't have the book on me. But this is called, there's probably something about Poetry and Creativity Day, because there's holidays pretty much every day, like crazy holidays things, and so this I think was written for that. And it's called Quill for Poets. What metaphor should I adhere to? Should I pen metered, rhyming sonnets with my quill to share at the town square? Should I wallow in liquor as I pen the ills of our generation for no one who will listen? Should I look over at my cat, arching her back and posing for me because she wants attention more than poets? At the end of the day, the night is still long, and I cannot decide what options to embrace. So I sit here, contemplating metering out my grievances on a printed page, until I pause, look out the window, and watch the world go by. This is the last one I will shoot from this book. And yes, I've got another day. This was written on April 8th, which is for a holiday that is on the first Saturday in April. It was written on Tangible Karma Day. Tangible Karma Day. So I wrote Karma and Lollipops. When we were about to check out of our hotel this weekend, a woman at the registry stopped us, handed us 2 embossed bunny lollipops, and said, "Happy Easter." Even though Easter was weeks away, I said thank you and went out for breakfast. When he got coffee and I got orange juice and yogurt, he pointed out the mom seated with her 2 little boys eating. I looked at the lollipops still in my hand, walked over to him and asked if it was okay to give her boys these 2 lollipops. She smiled and said yes to these plastic-wrapped lollipops, but since I thought breakfast might not be the best time for candy, I gave the mother the lollipops, then got the last of my food with my luggage before we got on the road again. People get high and mighty with the phrases, do unto others as you would have others do unto you, you reap what you sow, what goes around comes around, or even paying it forward. But these random acts of kindness, this tangible karma, all pretty much amounts to the same basic truth. What you do, the energy you put out into the world, will come back to you. The added bonus for tangible karma is that while doing good for someone else, it makes you feel good too. Because if karma is true and good things come to you because of the good you do, then these insignificant acts of kindness are tangible proof, evidence for exactly what you can do. Because the nice thing with karma is that all that goodness will always come back to you. Should I, Tom, would you like me to change it to birds for the second half, or is this good for the travel theme?
Birds, I love birds.
He loves the birds, so this is, I guess, part 1, and I will fade this one out. Yes. That's how I fade it up. And then, I have to turn my volume again and say, give me some birds. Oh, I probably don't have volume. Is that good? Second half will have birds. I'll try that one for you. Because as I had explained, there are short poems and long poems in this book, pheromones. Turn back on. I will, if I have short ones, try to share the photos with you as well. Like this first one. You can't see the photo because it's not really a good one to see, so. A poet walks into a coffee shop, sees a rabbi, a father, and an imam. And the poet thinks, I should write a poem about this. I need the big old applause, but I will go to unbounded. Where is unbounded? Haha. And it's a dark one to see. My unbounded love makes me fight for you against impossible odds. That one is oceans, if I find it. That's what bookmarks are for, right? Oceans. I would climb mountains, swim oceans, shed blood and tears to give you new life. This next one is a little bit longer, and I do not believe there is an image with it. But I believe it was accepted for publication in something in Georgetown this year or last, I cannot remember. And it is called Eyes. In fact, there's a tiny picture of eyes. It's really not easy to see, but it's a longer poem, so you get the idea. This is called Eyes. The eye is a fascinating thing. It's beautiful to study, especially yours. I would study the unique blue pools of yours so I could learn why I love your eyes and why I'm so in love with you. Eyes are our windows to the outer world, but they're also portals inward, fleeting glimpses to what you are inside. Our eyes are designed so that we can follow each other's gazes closely. I'm watching you. Scientists are now figuring out that our eyes really are a window to our soul, which may be why I love your eyes, never wanting to lose sight of them again. My husband's getting bashful because he's assuming they're all for him. I'm going to say that to you that way. I knew you'd love it.
I know who those ones that one was for.
You know who that was for.
Yes, somebody in college.
No. No, it's for you, of course. No,
He had nicer blue eyes than I had.
He's just trying to be.
He wore a sweater that matched his eyes.
Oh. My friend Jim? You're kidding me. Every once in a while you see somebody and like, I have to make a comment that your shirt perfectly matches your eyes, and it's just striking and it blows you away. That's how I gained a friend by telling him that. Anywho, this one is called Ends of the Earth, another very short one. I would go to the ends of the earth to have you with me once again. My baby, my love, you are my life. But then there's a face and a child's face in there too. It's really hard to see. But you know, if you were here up close, you could see it, I guess. This is a longer one because I decided to not include this in events of the year because I didn't think the Notre Dame catching on fire was really an event. But, you know, it was an amazing, but I didn't think that's something I should mark a holiday or a day of the year for. So I said I'm not going to include that there, but I wrote a few pieces, and this is one of the deep one about that day. Because that's just a foundation. The shock comes from the suddenness and the certainty. When something loved for years, always a constant, is suddenly destroyed so quickly, so succinctly, so completely. You think you did everything you could to stop this. You thought the entire world did everything in their power to make sure nothing like this could ever happen, and yet here we are. We sit in shock from far too far away to make a difference and watch the new mindset of instant recollection and instant gratification to force down your throat the instantaneous news that is killing you. It's killing you to live through this. Thousands of lifetimes and stories are lost in one unplanned, unintentional act, and now face a loss that no one expected, the loss that we couldn't even imagine. Everything from the foundation to the zeistes has collapsed as you wonder what within you has collapsed too. Whether you want to worship or want to admire or want to remember, It is now gone forever. And your first battle is to cope with it, to let the shock wear away until you can begin to grieve. And a happier ending for the ending of reading on this book is a poem that I wrote called Eternal Neverending Now. We struggle in our worlds. We contend with regular problems, and we look for relief in any way we can. We think a vacation can temporarily assuage how we feel, and it does, and then it is back to the same old grind, the same never-ending meaninglessness. I know it's hard. I know it seems hopeless, but I want to ask you, can you find a moment, can you pause and think of a time in your life, any time, when you felt at peace? It may have been, it seemed a lifetime ago. Maybe it was at a beach at sunset, listening to the waves crash. Maybe it was sitting along a mountainside, watching the little cars driving on the little roads below. Or maybe it was even just jumping in a vat of soybeans when a farmer said to look around the farm and all you could smell was fresh wheat and dew from the lush green all around you. I won't even bring up references like bubble baths or baseball games. Just think of what works for you and remember it. And what I want you to do is find that moment, and you may realize that time then seemed to stand still. Like there was no past, there was no future, there was just an eternal, never-ending now that didn't end. During that moment, you can't even remember it ending. It was that complete. So, if you can remember those times, if you can reflect on those times, then know that the perfect moment of completeness, of wholeness, is within you. Find it and know that peace is with you always. And now I'm going to end with the other thing about traveling that I wrote while I was gone. And this is the last poem, and thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is not in any books, so I just wrote it. And it is called Verdant Green. Journey across these northern states. Leave the hustle and bustle of the morning commute in Chicago. Drive through Indiana just past dawn. See fog hovering over fields past Gary, Valparaiso, Notre Dame. And keep your glasses on, not only because the sun in this cloudless sky is so ominously bright, but because the fields you drive past are so incredibly bright. Every crevice is covered with lush, verdant leaves from moisture-rich fields, springing forth life, and even your eyes need protection from the green. Because even Chicago has vines in bloom, covering buildings, wrapping tree trunks. So continue through Ohio and beyond the standing bales of hay. Lift your sunglasses every once in a while, just to shock your eyes with the verdant green all around you. Feel the metal, even the metal fences are covered with thick, lush foliage because everything grows here. Everything is alive with a force you've been aching for since subjected to that semi-arid dead summers of triple digits and no water to quench your soul. Look to your left. See across acres of corn stalks, and to your right, broad leaves of protein-rich beans. It may shock your senses, but this is life, and you need to remind yourself of the brightness of life before you enter Pennsylvania, and you need to pop your ears from the rising and falling mountains covered in forests you could only dream about. Inhale, take a deep breath, and breathe life in. Believe it or not, it gets more moist the further east you go, and the plants here are the proof. They're giving you the oxygen you need. Thank them for letting out your deep carbon dioxide breath. Fly past the occasional flowers growing along the roads as you journey, and smile when you see how vibrant life can be. And I'm sorry that I don't have extra copies of this first book, but if anybody, for some reason, wanted a copy of this, I could give it away for only $10, because through Amazon it'd probably be more like 15 when you get it. So, and I'll have to order more quickly. but thank you.